Well, today I'm fishing on the River Yeo at Dunscombe Bridge, and normally this is where I like to start my season on this section, and it's the 4th of May, so not really done very well this year. To be fair, I've been out a few times and there's either been people fishing, or when I've looked over the bridge in the village it's been in flood and I had to drive on and fish the Tor. It's been another strange week. I think Thursday we had 27 degrees and today they give about 16, so more massive shifts in temperature for the whole of the countryside to deal with. So I think I've pretty much given up predicting how the fish are going to react, and just going to go and give it a go. Look at the size of this beach here now. I'll see if I can dig out the clip somehow, but anybody who's had the misfortune to watch my very first YouTube video, which I think was 4 years ago now, the first fish I ever caught on YouTube was there, where that beach is. That used to be a nice deep run coming in under the bridge. Isn't that amazing? How much the river's changed it all. There is talk, apparently, if they're getting a contractor in to shift all the trees that are up there under the bridge. Have a look at that in a minute. But he hasn't done it yet. If they do, I expect the pool will revert back to a bit more of what it was, but it's very different now. For anybody who might be interested, I'm using a little adjustable duo rig. Clink hammer, not really a clink hammer as it's too small, but parachute hackle post type fly, pheasant tail nymph. It's still quite early and it's fairly coldish last night, so I'm not expecting to see anything rise just yet. There we are. I said I wasn't going to predict anything and I'm already predicting it. I had a little chap take the nymph. Oh, there you can see the obstruction under the bridge, how it's completely changed this pool, filled this all in. It's going to take some work, isn't it, to get all that lot out. If you decide to wade the right hand side of that pool, as we look at it now, as I just did, be careful. There's some great big rocks in there and a nice big tree section like this, and I nearly took an early bar, which would have been a pretty rubbish start to the day. So yeah, just watch it. Well, gee, that was fun. I was hoping just to get over this log here, but it's really deep in there. There must be some good fish sitting in there actually. Now I've waded it, I wish I'd fished through it. In the end I've come over this side, got through under this tree here. Might be more advisable just to go back and through the field really. There we go. Right. Well, that pool up there's changed too. Okay. Oh no, in the tree. It's a bit better fish. These 2 or 3 little chaps. Oh, cool. Oh, push it. Yeah. Oh, very nice. Splitting his tail there. Okay. Well, I wouldn't say the fish were exactly crawling up the rod rings, but it's steady. Good sport. Pretty. Oh, I think that was... I may have just missed the kingfisher going over my head. Brilliant. I love this time of year, haven't you, really? I think it's just bursting into life. Our bees are getting absolutely bonkers. Certainly enjoying this spring more than last year. Just constant wetness. This is much more to their liking. Oh. Ah, and a release. A little better fish, I think, out of this pool. Stacked up in here. Whoa. Yeah, nice one. Thank you, Mr. Trout. Oh, pretty fish. Look at that chap. Well, I have actually just seen a fish rise in this pool. It certainly feels like a nymphing day. I'm pulling them out on the nymph, no problem. So I've just taken the nymph off, put a parachute Adams on, and I'm going to have a go through this pool with twin dry fly. I don't really want to change the whole setup because I think the next pool's definitely going to be nymphing again. So it's only risen the once. There's not really much fly about, so this could be a hiding to nothing. We'll give it a go. Rather annoyingly, the big log that used to sit in here, which is called the lovely feature, I've caught no end of fish fishing up against that. It's been washed away. The back into this pool is now just a little shallow run. There you are. The rivers are always changing, aren't they? Right, well, the fish I saw rise was up in that phone line there. It rolls off that log. I'd like to see it rise again just so I could get a better view on it. Can't quite tell. I might just wait for a minute and see if it comes up again. I think that covered it. Yeah, I didn't put the camera on. What a shame. I just had a cast, a speculative cast further right up by the log, and this fish took the Adams. Lovely. Whoa, easy. Zoom. Ah, bit of a shame, but there we are. Nice fish. I thought I saw another thing rise up around that corner, so I might sneak up there and have a look. Right, I think the fish just rose up under this tree. Bloody horrible wind's just sprung up out of nowhere. in underneath there. Not quite. I was over it. No, not this time. Well, here's another slight point of interest. After many years of these fields being winter wheat and oilseed rape and maize, they've actually been turned back to grassland pasture that they used to be years ago, which could be quite a good thing for the river, really. Certainly be a lot less applications of pesticides and insecticides on this, and we won't get so much terrible runoff during the winter. Very often these fields will be left bare during the winter, especially if it was maize, because all the sediment gets washed into the stream then. So we'll have to see what happens. This particular section of the O, I'm told, used to be really good for black gnat fishing. Now if we're talking what I would call the black gnat, according to Mr. Weaver, the Bibia johannes, that's a land-based insect that would lay its eggs on the roots of the grass. Now whether the farmers treat with something now that kills the larvae, I don't know, but it'd be nice to get some of them back down here. That used to be fabulous fishing on the team when I was a kid, when the black gnats came out. That's probably the best rise of the season. Anyway, I'll keep you posted. I keep doing these videos over the years. We'll have a record, won't we, if there's any improvement. Right, let's crack on. Look at the wild garlic showing here. It's quite overpowering smell. Wild garlic and bluebells. Well, after a run of really tiny fish, I got something a bit bigger. Oh, that's it. Welcome. This pool's completely changed here. There used to be a really lovely deep pot and it's filled in. This will be just a beach come summertime. Used to catch some big fish in this pot just before the bridge. And they may still be in there, of course, but not as easy to fish now. It's washed out so quick. The fish from under the bridge. I always think there should be a real monster living in under here. I mean, it's a good trout, but it's not the Moby Dick I think should live under here. Good account of themselves, anyway. Nice. Catching some fish today. Well, they've taken out the massive oak tree that fell across here, went right out almost into the road, I think. You can see where it fell out of the bank there, and they've left the root ball. It's been dragging all the stuff up that bank into the field. Still no flies hatching. Actually, relatively feel a bit cold. I know it's not really a cold day, but it feels cold on my hands. And loads of these bloody seeds coming down. It doesn't make for that easier dry fly fishing anyway. I think I might stop and sit up there somewhere, have a spot of lunch, see what I'm going to carry on with today, or maybe go home and try a different time. I should have brought a jumper. Well, I just fished through a lovely piece of dry fly water down there, which has been created from the flooding, and had 3 rises, missed the 2 better ones, and obviously landed the tiny one. I've also seen 1 mayfly, so I don't know, maybe something's going to happen. Oh no! I don't think that was a very big fish. Okay, so I've had 4 rises. Missed 3 and caught 1. Bugger. Right, I'm going to stop and have some lunch now, I think. Well, I've made a switch after lunch, having had plenty of fish now on the nymph. I've gone over to single dry fly. There's just a few black gnats now starting to gather over the heads of the pool, so more for old time's sake than anything else, I'm having to go with a Mike Weaver style black gnat, which has caught me no end of fish over the years. Now, he would always say that he'd like to see a few fish rising when they're on the black gnat. I haven't seen a single fish in this pool come up at all, but I'm going to assume the 2 I saw back there were probably taking the black gnats. There's certainly no other fly hatch that I've seen. Oh, 1 mayfly. 1 mayfly doesn't make a hatch, does it? I mean, it's 1 o'clock now, so I'm thinking if anything's going to happen, it's going to be around now. It's a lot cooler today than it has been. I'm not going to lie, I'm struggling a bit to see it. These are not 18-year-old eyes anymore, are they? I think if there's a rise, I'm just going to strike. Look at this piece of river here. The farmer's lost a bit of his field. There's a big log jam there and the river just went round the side of it. It's made an island. You can see how much they want to move about. If you gave them access back to their floodplain, they'd be all over these fields, wouldn't they? Backwards and forwards, changing the course of the river all the time. Too deep to wade around there. I'll have to go up so we can find another spot to get back in. The other thing about putting this back to pasture, it's going to be a lot nicer to walk around on the banks. Bushwhack your way through maize. These are the plants. I can't remember what it's called. They would be covered in black gnats years ago. The flowers would look black and you could shake them and they turn white again. When you start to think of just the sheer biomass of food that we've systematically removed from the countryside, it's really quite frightening. I mean, every river would have just had swarms and swarms of black gnats over it. God knows how many insects. No way in. Well, I gave it a good go with the black gnat, but no rises, unfortunately. It does tend to fish better when you've got rising fish to go at. They need to get on it first, don't they? Not really enough insects about at the moment. You never know, it might come. This particular run here looked too good to not nymph. It's definitely been a nymphing day, so I just chucked on under an indicator for now. Plenty of fish about today if you wanted to fish the... Whoa, there's a tree. Wanted to fish the nymph. Managed a few on the dry fly, but yeah, I think the cold has just knocked it back again. As I said earlier, it's not cold, it's only cold relatively to what it has been. All these changes, it's not good for the fly life and it's not good for the rising fish, I don't think. Why would you bother? Just sit on the bottom where all the food is. Try a bit of twerking. What I think I'm going to do now is fish through this run, and I want to go back and try that run with the nymph that I spoke about earlier, just to see if it makes a difference. There must be fish in that pool, and then I think I'm going to probably call it a day. Yeah, I knew there'd be a fish in here on the nymph. Wow, that was quite interesting, that particular capture. I'll talk you through it in a minute once I've got this back. Very nice. And that's probably going to look a bit weird because the battery went on the camera and I had to retreat and put a new one in. Yeah, I was going to say that last fish probably ought to go to our club secretary, really, because we've been having a chat about nymphing, and I said how I'll often like twitch the nymph, especially in the slower water. Maybe not on this run, but I'll twitch it a bit, give it a bit of movement. And he said, do you ever try lifting it? So I don't know what you're talking about. And I think I've got it right. He's probably using a longer rod than this, but he'd literally have it come opposite him like that and just lift it up very slowly, as if the nymph's starting to ascend. Thank you, train. And that's what I did on that last fish. Literally, as the fly got opposite me, I just lifted the rod tip a bit to draw the nymph up through the river, and it hung on the end. So thanks Gary, it has worked. I think I'd be better off with 8'6" rod though, rather than this tiny thing, but yeah, just doing like that. And it grabbed it. I must grill him more about it. See if I've got it right or not. A little bit more weight to this fish, I think. I was just putting the nymph, whoa, not my legs, my legs. Just putting the nymph through that faster bit out there, and it really didn't feel like it was getting down, so I changed to something a bit heavier. Oh yeah, better one. There's spots on that. Beautiful. I'm not getting any of the really bigger sort of 12, 14-inch fish that are in here, but can't moan at today's results, even if it is all on nymph. Well, I think that's me done. I was heading back downstream to try that pool again with the nymph, but I see there's another angler in there, so I'm going to go and say hi to him and see how they've got on. As ever, thanks for watching. I don't think YouTube promotes my videos very much now that I've told them I don't want any adverts in them, so every view is appreciated. This was definitely a nymphing day, but the few fish I saw rise I did manage to tempt with my dry flies, even if I couldn't hook them and or land them, so who knows, maybe it's a sign of things to come. I've seen 2 mayfly, a few black gnats starting to hover above the stream. If we can just get some proper weather through May, perhaps we'll get a nice dry fly day. I'll come and film that. Anyway, I'll catch you later.